Earnings season is on the horizon, and to preview some of the big tech earnings that are due out later this month, Daniel Newman's with us, CEO at the Futurum Group, joining us now. Good to see you, Daniel Newman. New year. Is tech still hot, though, right, for 2025 now?
Nicole, so good to see you. I saw your trip. It looked like you had a lot of fun. Yeah, we're back, and tech is still hot. Just on the heels of CES. AI is still very much in fashion. We saw the tenor, sort of change a little bit of the overall market, but AI is in a very early stage, and there's a ton of enthusiasm to see the productivity and efficiency gains that can come. And that means there's going to be some names to watch, and this should be another opportunistic year, although it may be hard to match 2024's rip and roaring success.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at many of the names in the Magnificent Seven, I mean, Meta's 70%, Netflix 80%. I'm saying 1 year from today, the 9th of January. 168% for NVIDIA, 65% for Tesla, but really some great performance. Now, I think anybody would be happy with half that. Right. Let's get to some of the names that are in focus, because Netflix will report its numbers on January 21st. Netflix is up 39.7% in 1 year. And some of your thoughts on Netflix, particularly with all the live sports, other content. What's on your mind there?
There was a big moment that came right around the holiday, Nicole, for Netflix, and that was the NFL. When all of a sudden, for the first time, we're tuning in and watching NFL games on Netflix. And everyone was sort of wondering, after the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight, is Netflix going to be able to pull this off? And the bottom line is, I spent the holiday watching NFL football on Netflix, and I just said to myself, we maybe just saw this really big inflection. We know Amazon's done it with Prime. We know there's been other streamers. We've seen the recent news with Fubo and ESPN, but Netflix has always kind of led the content, led the development, led the subscription rates, led the growth. They've had some sticky moments over the past few years, but those that stuck with it, those that believed, have seen really great returns from Netflix. And you bring NFL, which of all the sports is kind of the holy grail, and now you start to think there could be some really exciting times ahead for Netflix.
Understood. I mean, when you think about the content and what they need to spend, I mean, billions and billions of dollars to remain competitive against some of their other names that are at their heels. When you look at the stock, do you think the stock has upside potential? Will it still be a number one?
In the streaming space, I really do think so. I think the company is going to have to be looking into the ad-supported, those lower tier pricing mechanisms that can drive different revenue streams. We all know that sort of traditional linear TV is under a lot of pressure, and Netflix has been a big part of that. But Netflix will have to continue to innovate, continue to disrupt itself, and I think it does so in a few ways, making that experience for those that are willing to pay more great by having that content, adding sports, adding NFL, things that people are absolutely willing to pay for. And then, of course, finding ways to lure in new customers and make sure they have enough content that they are the first choice. And they've been good at doing it. And I don't see them straying from that strategy. I think they're doing well.
Yeah, understood. Let's move on to Tesla, which is up about 65%. It reports end of January. On January 29th, there's been obviously a lot of high hopes for Tesla in many forms. And of course, you have him working closely, Elon Musk working closely with the Trump administration. But I'm thinking about Tesla, the company, and maybe a lower priced vehicle, robo-taxis, these types of things. Is Tesla a potential winner in your mind, more of a winner than maybe a loser for 2025?
No company gets more credit for its ability to see the future than Tesla. Jensen Huang at CES delivered the future of physical AI, and the stock went down. When Elon Musk tells a story about a new $1 trillion market opportunity, the investors seem to just pour in, and they're absolutely believers. Is Tesla a car company? Absolutely not in the way it's evaluated. Is it a car company in terms of the operation? It sure is. But the world, the market, the investors, the retail buyers, they all seem to see Tesla as the future of autonomy, the future of AI, the future of humanoid robots, energy storage. There's all these great links between SpaceX, xAI, Tesla. They're building out the future of AI infrastructure. So there's a lot to be enthused about. The business itself, you saw the recent deliveries numbers, not necessarily where they need to be, but the market seems to be willing to shrug that off as a whole. Of course, it's always a little bit more volatile. Tesla is a stock that can move in really big ways. It seems to be a very emotional move. The other thing, though, is like in the short term is getting that robo-taxi, getting people to believe that that's a real thing and starting to monetize it. And that smaller Tesla 2 model that they talk a lot about, Nicole, I think that one is something that could really move the needle because that changes the spreadsheets.
Yeah, I do want to talk about the exciting way that Cybertruck actually navigated through the LA fires. I'll get to that in a moment because that's sort of more of a color and story and maybe a testament to Tesla. But I do want to talk about full self-driving, where Elon Musk says that full self-driving is going to surpass human driving safety by basically midpoint of this year. That full self-driving is going to be more safe than human driving. What do you think of that comment?
Well, if you listen to Waymo, they'll tell you it already exceeds human driving. I think there is still some question marks about the different sensor technologies. Tesla's very committed to vision, radar. We know that there's some debate on LiDAR as a additional mechanism for safer, more reliable driving, full self-driving. I think we're getting there. I mean, look, people are absolutely error prone. They're distracted. Accident rates are higher. We know that people who've done the full self-driving experience have seen some of the ways that these cars can still get stuck, still need human in the loop to properly navigate. But we're seeing Waymo throughout San Francisco. And I've talked to a lot of people and they feel very safe. And in my experiences in autonomous vehicles, there's a lot to feel confident about. Having said that, the sort of historic relationship that humans have with cars and driving, I still think that's going to be the harder thing for most to overcome.
I'll tell you, I mean, I got to give it up just for a moment. I want to get to Apple, but I do need to speak of what occurred with the Cybertruck, with the LA fires, which have now been deadly, and that's most unfortunate, and our thoughts and prayers go out to those. I mean, it's devastating. It's absolutely devastating watching these fires roaring. And in the meantime, Ross Gerber, who you're familiar with from Gerber Kawasaki, noted that his Cybertruck was his hero in these fires, and that it navigated over fallen trees, has a HEPA filter air system for smoke. He noted that, this firsthand account, all about his efforts, how he was navigating through the Pacific Palisades, and that it was the unexpected performer, and that it was in fact his flooded hero. Flooded roads, navigated over fallen trees, etc. So certainly really great. Now everybody will want a Cybertruck, maybe.
Well, Nicole, if I can say, over the last few weeks, there's been a few tragedies where Cybertrucks have been involved. We saw what happened in Las Vegas at the Trump Hotel, the construction of these trucks. Now you're seeing this with the Los Angeles fires, the ability to do this navigating with vision. It's very encouraging to see that this technology can help humans achieve more and do more and augment, during these very stressful times. This is what the technology should do. When you hear about the humanity of AI, the opportunity for AI to add value, it's not all about displacing and replacing humans. These are the kinds of things we think about: safety, connectedness, and of course, getting us through some of these more difficult times. Technology can be a great add, but sometimes that's not as interesting of a story as some of the more negative things that tech can do.
Now, do you do anything on the stock performance, or you're more about the fundamentals? Because Netflix, we just talked about Netflix and Tesla. I mean, would you be comfortable saying these stocks should rise at least 10% this year or something like that?
Yeah. So as an industry
that would be
side,
a far cry from where we are.
yeah. I mean, as an industry side, we definitely look at the technology, we definitely look at the company, and we will gain shape to whether we think directionally companies are expected to grow. What I don't do is I don't set the price targets, I don't set buy ratings on stocks. So over the years, Nicole, when we've talked, I can certainly tell you that Tesla has the marks of adding at least 1 to 2 additional multi-trillion-dollar market cap opportunities with both autonomy and humanoid robots. It's going to have a very competitive space as we see China growing and the strength of Chinese EVs. And of course, we have a lot of infrastructure challenges ahead of us to really see EVs take off and FSD take off at scale. Having said that, I think the Tesla community and the belief in the company, and if it can get its Model 2 right, there's absolutely no reason it can't continue to see upside. I just continue to say that I think 2024 was a bit of an outlier. But with Tesla, you just don't know because the passion and the commitment of its investors and the belief in the vision of Elon Musk, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah. Let's get to Apple. As Apple also has been a winner, it's up over 30% in 1 year. MoffettNathanson actually shed some water and poured some water on the name on January 7th. But that being said, it reports on January 30th. Your thoughts on Apple and what we may hear? Do you think this could be a winning earnings season for Apple?
I'm still skeptical about Apple because of where the valuation sits. I mean, this is one of the most consequential companies in the world. It has a massive install base. I just don't think it's quite gotten its AI rollout correct. That could be artificial intelligence or Apple intelligence. The early readouts are low use, not super great value. The fact that it's connecting back to OpenAI says that the company really hasn't executed yet in terms of figuring out what its plan is for language models, video models. And we've also seen this kind of super cycle that was promised to the market for smartphones and next generation PCs to have sort of sputtered a bit. I mean, you'd think even just 1 year between CESs in 2024, it was supposed to be the year of the AI PC and the AI smartphone, and we heard super cycle over and over again. And we've seen nothing, if not just a blip of uptick. And that's now with a second generation, because they had the 15 Pro Max or the Plus, and then the 16 Pro Max and all the 16s that had Apple Intelligence in it. And people aren't running to the stores to get Apple Intelligence. So I'm still confident because of its massive install base that it can get somewhere with AI. I think the market's going to want to hear more because you can't think of one of the world's largest tech companies not having a play here. On the other side, Nicole, this company is more strategic in terms of its financial engineering, in terms of how it handles its buybacks. Its investors know this is a flight to safety. So if the market continues to sort of move sideways and there's a little bit of skepticism of the overall market, the economy, inflation, interest, Apple is a pretty good place to go because while it may not have the same upside as an NVIDIA or a Tesla, I think the downside is very limited.
Yeah, understood. And when we talk about AI, we will continue to talk in the future about names like NVIDIA and all these AI chip stocks because the Biden administration is considering new China export bans. So, excuse me, that could be obviously an ongoing story. Daniel Newman, CEO of the Futurum Group.